Okay, hopefully we'll have spring pretty soon. Oh, okay. Well. All right, 165 and 297. Two, 3, 5, 7, 11, and sometimes 13. So the first thing I'm thinking of is maybe a 3, because 15 and 27. That's what I'm thinking of. So let's go with a 3. 3 will go into 16 5 times. Leave 1. That'd be 15, which would be 5. 3 will go into 29 9 times. That'll leave 27, so that's 9. Oh my. Well, wonder what goes into double-digit numbers. 11. That'd be a 5 and a 9. And at this point, the real math what? Real math stops, so your GCD is what? 33. 3 times 11. So that is the biggest number that will go into these two numbers. So now we keep going with the magic math. 5 will give me a 1 and a 9. 3 squared will give me a 1 and a 1. So when we have the two 1s, that means we have our least common multiple. And that's 3 to the third power, right here. 3 to the third power times 5 times 11. Now at this point, you have to use a calculator unless you can do some, you know that 3 to the third power is what? 27. Now, watch me. 27 times 10 is what? Huh? 270. Now, if 27 times 10 is 270, there's 1 left over right here, right? So 1 times 27 is what? 27. So 297. Have you checked out to see what 27 times 11 is? What is it? Supposed to do it on the calculator. Some of y'all that's on the side calculator thing in high school. How much? It's a miracle. Now, 297 times 5. Now watch me here. I mean, this 297 times 5. I'm not going to multiply 297 times 5 in my calculator. What am I going to do? 300 times 5, Hubert. Yeah, that's right, class. 300 times 5 is 1,500, right? I'm going to go up here and I'm going to say 300 times 5 is 1,500. What's the difference between 300 and 297? What's 3 times 5? So take 15 off of this, and what do you get? Dang old 14 what? I bet you that my least common multiple is 1485. What is it? 6 cents. All right? 1485. So what's my common denominator in C? What was my two fractions? Okay, 27 over 165. 32 over, okay, 297. So my common denominator is 1485. All right? 165, we're going to this. We can go over here and find 165. Where is 165? Okay? Here's the 1 right here. The 165 is 3 times 11 times what? Huh? 5. Isn't that 165 right there? Because you got a 1 right here, so that's 165. So, how many times will 165 go into 1485? 9 times, Hubert. Thank you, class. 9 times 27 is what? 243. Y'all check my math. 297. Now 297, that's over here. Let's say 3 times 11 times 5, that's that, times 9. So 9 times this is 297, right? I think that's what I put into it. Somebody multiply for me and say 3 times 5, 9. 3 times 11 times 9. Somebody multiply 3 times 11 times 9. That's going to give you 99 times 3. Yeah, that'll work. So how many times will 297 go into 1485? 5 times. 5 times 30 is 150 plus 10 is 140. Now you should be able to add those two. They know 43, 40 is 83. So 383. Did I do something wrong? Okay, I'm sorry. I did it wrong in my head. My bad. 160. So that would be 160, the thing 403. Somebody help me out. Thank you. Now, is adding fractions that difficult? No. This is really easy. But this part right here is what students can't do. They can't do it because either they weren't taught how to do it, or they were taught how to do it, they just didn't want to listen or learn. Those arrows right there is what gets everybody in trouble with adding and subtraction. And getting this number right here, 1485. So, I killed 2 birds with 1 stone. I did 1 homework problem and also got us at the beginning of this problem by doing the 27 over 165 plus 32 over 297. Okay? Everybody feel good with that one? All right, then what are we going to cover today? Well, we're going to cover 2 or 3 sections today in a little bit of time because it's not that big a deal. What do you mean they're not big a deal? Because most of you know how to add and multiply fractions, and most of you know how to do sign numbers. All right, so we're going to start with adding and subtracting, or multiplying and dividing fractions. All right, multiplying fractions. You either do it and reduce. That's one method. Or the second method is reduce and what? And do it. And y'all might find this hard to believe. These are Hubertisms. Okay? In other words, you're not going to find them in the book. You either do it and reduce, or you reduce and do it. What the heck does that mean? Well, not all the time are you going to be able to do this. Okay? But this one you can do all the time. This is the granddaddy. This is the one you can do all the time. This one you can't do all the time. So let me give you an example. Let's say you have a problem. 1 over 2 times 3 over 4. And let's say you don't have to, let's say you don't even know what number 2 is. Then you just do number 1. Do it. Do what? Well, what's the operation? Multiplication, Hubert. That's right, class. So what's 1 times 3? And what's 2 times 4? Can you reduce it? No. So you leave it alone. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And that's how you do it and reduce. Now that'd come out to be 4/8. What would 4/8 reduce down to? 1/2. love going into Lowe's and asking for 5100 cent wrench and seeing how many people will look for it. Try it sometime. Okay? Now that's an example of number one. Now you can't reduce and do it because you can only reduce fractions vertically and diagonally when multiplying. So let's do one like, and let's put this one up here with, put this one up here like that. That's that one. And now let's do one like here. 2 over 3 times 9 over 4. Now there's two ways to do that problem, and you are welcome to do both ways while you're writing it in your notes. Go ahead and try it. And do it whichever way you want to. And you don't have to do it both ways, but I would like for you to try it both ways. Now, not all the time are you going to be able to reduce and do it. Some of the time you can't, and you have to fall back on the first one. So, one way you could do this problem is you could actually go straight across and multiply 2 times 9. And 2 times 9 would give you what?
18.
Give you, 2 times 9 will give you 18. And 3 times 4 will give you what? Now that's using the first method, and we could reduce this down to 6 will go into both here, what, 3? 3 over 2, and that's your final answer. Now that's one way of doing it. That's the first method. So we could actually take this one and do this. Trying to make a nice man cuss.
Before you paste it, you might want to...
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where I put it. It's going to find it, and it's going to put it where it wants to. Thank you. All right. So I can take that one and I can put that one up here, and I can bring this. It would work with me, which is not. And instead of going straight across, don't let that happen. I'm trying to breathe. What can I do? What? I could reduce, it's called cancelization. 2 will go into 2 one time, 2 will go into 4 2 times, 3 will go into 3 one time, 3 will go into, and 1 times 3 is, and 1 times 2 is, and that's method 2. Now I could care less which one you use. Just get the what? Get the correct answer. Capisce? Now, what about division of fractions? Is there such a thing as division of fractions? No. Why? Because division of fractions, you multiply by the what? So technically there is no division of fractions. You multiply by the reciprocal. And that's the way I like to explain it to students, because it's easier for them to grab on to that rather than, well, when you divide a fraction, you're actually multiplying by the reciprocal, so you're still dividing. And when I tell students that, what are they going to do? They're going to get confused. So let's just do away with this and just say when you see a fraction divided by a fraction, just rewrite it as 1/2 times what? And do it as you did the multiplication. That right there is a standardized test question right there. See the way it's set up? I had a teacher, well, one of my students that later became a teacher, took their practice exam at Clemson, and when they took it, they came to me and called me right after. I got this question memorized. I want you to do it for me. And it was that one right there. And she had no clue how to do it. And if they had just written it like this, she would have known how to do it. All right? So don't let this fool you, because this is a question that no matter what kind of standardized test you take, and whether it's entry into nursing or whether it's SAT or whatever, they won't put this. They'll put this to try to throw you off. Okay? And that's the same thing as that. So all you have to discern is which one is the biggest fraction bar. This one, or this one. And you have to look closely on some of these standardized tests. But that one right there is going to be usually the biggest. And that's multiplication and division of fractions. Again, I'm not going to insult your intelligence by spending a whole day on it, because most of the time, if you're in this class and you've had pre-algebra, you know how to do this. Just in case, I want to go over a couple of things that we may not have covered in some of the problems that we've covered, and that's mixed numbers. Okay? Adding, subtraction, mixed numbers. Now, there's 2 ways to do adding and subtracting to mixed numbers. One is you can add the whole numbers up and then add the mixed numbers up, or the fractions, and then adjust accordingly. That's one way you can do it. Or you can change both of them into what? Impropers. I don't care which way you do it. One method is to add whole number, then fractions. Okay, that's one method. The second method is to convert into improper fraction. So we're going to do one right quick just to refresh everybody's memory in case you run into one on homework or the test. So with that, 2 1/2 plus 3 4/5. Now you know the answer is going to be more than what? 5. Why? Because $2.50 and $3.50 will give you more than $5, right? And that's basically what this is. I mean, well, you could say set 375 here if you wanted to. If you used a little bit of an estimation, that'd be $2.50 plus 375, and just by using estimation, you come up with what? 625, and that's by estimation. Hubert, that's not 3/4. Where did I get that 0.75? What's the difference between 4 and 5? What's the difference between 3 and 4? What's the difference between 2 and 3? 1 digit, right? Most of your fractions, if you've got a 1 digit difference, 1 digit, it's going to be around 0.7. Most of them. 3/4, 0.75. Point, what is it, 2/3 is what? 0.67. Which rounds up to be 0.7. I just said estimation, did I not? I said estimation. I was estimating. So my estimation, hold on. Squiggly equal sign over dollar until I'm estimating approximate. Now let's see what the actual answer is. Well, 2 plus 3 is what? 5. And then 1/2 plus 4/5. And that's going to be 5. Dang old 10 is our common denominator. 2 will go into 10. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 will go into 10. 2 times 4 is 8. 5 plus 8 is what? 13 over 10. And what does that 13 over 10 turn into? Turns into 1 and what? 3/10. And what's 5 plus 1? And 3/10 is what? Point what? I had no clue how to do this problem, but by using money, I said the answer was around 6.25. I'm off by a nickel. A whole lot better. I'd much rather you be off by a nickel and having to depend on what? The calculator and being like that person who can't make change at 16. Your bill is $11.56. Okay, here's 2006. I'm retarded. I can't make change for that. Let me call my manager. And I'm sorry. I don't care if I offended anybody. Y'all can fire me, okay? If you can't make change, why are you on a cash register? If I owned a business, your butt be in the stock room. Because if you couldn't make change, you would not be on my cash register. Why? Exactly. And then I have to spend time late at work, or my manager or assistant manager got to spend time late at work trying to figure out where your screw up is because your cash register is coming up $50 short or whatever short, all because you can't what? You can't count. I'm sorry, that's a nerve with me. It happened to me on vacation. I went on vacation and went to a restaurant down in Charleston.
Dear God. That was high or something.
This girl was just stupid. I told the manager that. I mean, I'm a nice person, and I don't usually talk about people, but if you have a sign around your neck that says, please talk about me, and this woman did. She did. She thought I was giving her a tip. 56 cents. Yeah. And the bill was $20. The bill was like a crazy amount. Like, there was like 5 people, you know, so the restaurant in Charleston, so seafood, it was high. And I gave her like $60, and she rang it up. So it was $60 more because I was going to leave a big tip. So it was, whatever the case might be, I gave her more in deals. All right? And then I said, wait a minute, I got change. And she'd already rang it up. Oh my God. I gave her the change, it was like 67 cents. And she just sat there and looked at me like, and she didn't say much. She was like, and after about the third time she did this, I'm like, what? She said, what'd I do with this? I said, I don't know, ask your manager. I mean, is that ridiculous or what? Get off my soapbox. Have you ever gone out and had something really strike a nerve with you? Some of y'all do. Some of y'all don't like. Some of y'all will check your silverware and check your glasses, and you see one speck, you'll have to fit. Well, that's not me. I care less. But oh, what is it? All right, what is it? What is a dirty piece of silverware? What is it? What is it that was on it? It's done been sent through the washer. It's done been up to 100,000 degrees. The germs are off of it. You just eat a whole piece of food. But you'll go into your kitchen at night and eat stuff that you've been leaving out for how long?
I don't do that.
Oh no, you're perfect.
I'm not perfect, but
Oh, be quiet. You do go in your kitchen and eat food that's been sitting out. No, but everybody
you're
does.
talking about like a spoon that's had shit on it, and then it's like.
If it's been washed, okay, is the germs off of it?
Yeah. No, I mean.
Yeah, it is. Take the daggum finger, flick it off, and eat. I mean, it's not a big deal. But to me, somebody that can't make change in the cash register, that bothers me. Oh yeah, and that, give them back $202.58. Okay, here's $202. Yeah, they'll give back whatever it says. No, because if you watch Water's World, that just infuriates me. To know that there's adults walking around that don't know who the first president of the United States was. That bothers me. Okay, so now that y'all are thoroughly discouraged, no, I'm just kidding. 2.5, I don't know where the pizzas are, they haven't called yet. Let's go with 2.5 plus 3, and do it that way. 2.5 plus 3 4/5. Now change them, I want you to change them to a improper. Now in this one, 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times, 2 times 2 is 4. 4 plus 1 is what? That'd be 5 halves. Plus, what, 19 fifths? And of course 10, 2, 5, 25, 5, 2, 38. 63 over 10. Oh my gosh, another big mathematical problem. Move the decimal over one place, so you divide it by 10, and you get what? Do you know there are people that are in college that did not know that if you divide by 10 or 100 or 1,000 or that you need decimal point 42? Do you know there's people like that? And there's nothing wrong with it. It's just that they should have been taught that back in the, what, second or third grade. And if you multiply by 10 or 100 or 1,000, you move it what? To the right. There are people that don't know that. And it's Bush's fault. All right, let's do another one. Let's do some subtraction. This time we got a B-O-R-R-O-W. Pronounce it however you would like. And that's when you don't have you've got a small number and you're subtracting a bigger number from it. So 25 1/5 minus 4 give me a minute and 7/10. Try that one. And feel free to quit, whenever. Now, it doesn't matter really which one you pick. You can do it either way. If you pick doing the whole number versus the improper, the whole number you're going to have to borrow or borrow, depending on where you're from. And 25 minus 4 and 1 could be, I think that comes out to be 2/10. 2/10 minus 7/10. You can't take 7 away from 2. You can and get a negative number, but that doesn't work when you're talking about quantities. It doesn't work very well. So you're going to have to borrow 1 from the 25. And when you do that, you're going to bring it down as 10/10. Trying to see if they called about the, nope, they haven't. So that's going to be 24. You got a 1 floating around. 1/5 minus 4 7/10. Now I borrowed 1 from this 24, that's floating around up here, but I've got to bring it down and combine it with this. But I've got to bring it down and combine it with the same denominator. So technically, I bring it down as 5 what? Fifths. And a lot of people say, well, you didn't need to do that. All you need to do is get a 10 because, well, yeah, that's. But I'm trying to show you the borrowing concept, why you do what you do when you borrow or borrow. So that's 24 and what? 6/5 minus 4 7/10. Now you find a common denominator. And that would be 10. And that would be 24 and 10 and 5 going to 10. 2 times 6 is what? Minus 4 and 7/10. And 24 minus 4 is 20. And 12 minus 7 is what? 5. And what does that come out to be? 20 and a half, or 20.5. Now, you could have done this with improper fractions, and you wouldn't have had to what? You wouldn't have to worry about borrowing. So, 6 of one, half dozen the other. It's up to you what you want to do. But if you do improper fractions, chances are, if you start with a mixed number, you need to what? End with a mixed number, and you got to go through the whole thing of changing it back to a mixed number, which could have a careless mistake in it. It's whichever one you want to do. Comprende? And that's how you do mixed numbers. Now, in 5.2, we skipped 5.2 basically because it was adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing signed numbers. Now, before I show you anything about signed numbers, I want everybody to get in the frame of mind, and these are the two that cause the most problems, adding and subtracting signed numbers. All you have to do is think of what? Think of what? Money. Think of money, because money is important. I didn't say obsession, I said important. Everybody in here, because we all like to pay our bills, and we all like things. So it's important to us. If you have a negative in your bank account, or if you owe money, it's going to be shown as a negative. So from here on out, when you see a positive or a negative, you think of it as owing money or negative. When you see a positive, you think of not owing money, but what? You had it in your pocket. And the only other rule that you have to remember when adding and subtracting signed numbers is that two negatives real close together make a what? And those are the only three things that you have to know to add and subtract signed numbers. I don't care what your teachers have told you in the past, that's it. Because I'm not going to teach you 15 different when I can just teach you 3. So you can make up any mathematical sentence you want to and use these 3 and you'll be fine. Example. Now, this problem looks like a mess, but it's not. The first thing you want to do is clean it up. Do you need 2 sides to tell you to do something in mathematics? No. You can rewrite this as negative. Like that. You don't need somebody to tell you, I have $2, but you owe your brother $3 now. In order to owe him, you have to give him the money. That's what the plus means. You have to give him the money. So you have $2. You owe your brother $3. you have to give him your $2 because you owe him money. So you give him $2. That's what the plus means. You've got to give it to him. I think most of us in here know that if we owe somebody money and we get money in our pocket, what should we do? Okay? We don't need the plus in there to tell us that we need to pay our money. Some of us do. There's some people, they have $1,000. Okay? Have money in the bank, they don't pay bills. Just throw them away, and they go away. Have you ever met anybody like that? There are people like that if they just throw the money, throw the bill in the garbage can, it's gone. Yeah, and your house is going to be behind pay 2 months too. Or depends on how long before the other one catches it. So, here we go. We have $2. We owe $3. This is my life. And we owe 17. Now, there's two types of people in the world. There's your Bill Gateses and there's your Hubert McClures. What's the difference between Bill Gates and Hubert McClure? Well, Bill Gates, he's the person who's really got money here, okay? Really got money. He's got more money than his ancestors will ever what? His descendants. The Senate will ever spend. That's people with real money. Alright? I can't make it from month to month without spending all my paycheck. Right? Now, there's a lesson there. One is if your bank account is majority positive, will you ever have a negative in it? No. Because you won't spend more than what you have in the bank account. If you're Bill Gates, you'll never spend that money. Or Tom Cruise, or name these people that just got oodles and oodles of money.
Intel,
Yeah.
Cuban.
Yeah. I mean, they got money because, I'm trying to think of some, but there's some people that, they did their acting or they did their songs, but then they took that money and they just turned it into.
Jay-Z did that.
Yeah, they just turned their money into solid money. All right? They just got bukus of money. All right? They'll never spend that. Michael Jackson was somebody like that. Michael Jackson, Elvis Presley, they just will not, they're still spending Elvis's money. Somebody is. The whole point is, they're not Hubert. All right? Hubert, they know bank account down here and they know debt up here. All right? And I'm a whole lot better than I was 2 years ago. But the whole point is, I don't have the $1 million that the Michael Jacksons had or Elvis Presley had. I don't have that. So my bank account is going to be here, but my bills are going to be here. So sometimes, most of the time, I've got like $2 in my bank account. All right? But I pay my bills now. All right? So here, is this Bill Gates or is this Hubert? This is Hubert. Oh, look. They only have $2 in the bank. So you have $2 in the bank, you owe 3, and you owe 17. You try to give some of that money to the person you owe. What do you still owe? What I'm telling you is, when you have a problem like this, clean it up, trim the fat off, and just look at it logically. You don't have to remember any rules, you just have to use common sense. Just do an error. You owe $6, right? You owe $6. There's the pizza. You have 15. Hello. Yes, you downstairs? Okay, thanks. Bye-bye. Go get it. Leave by the $5 tip on the thing, okay? for them, or unless you got $5.
You got $10?
No.
I need-
What? They gonna try and be Bill Gates. All right, so you owe $6, you have 15. Well, if you're a person worth your salt, what do? Pay that person off, and what do you got left? Do you owe the person, or do you have? You have, because you're Bill Gates. Bill Gates has more in the bank than he'll ever spend. So the answer is going to be positive. And what's the answer going to be? They owe $9. You have $9 in your pocket. It's as simple as that. Now, if you want to make it more complicated, I can give you all kinds of rules and everything to make it complicated. What about the two negatives? Negative 3 minus a negative 4. Whenever you see this, remember I told you a while ago that the positive and the negative, that tells you that you have to pay the person because you got money and you got to pay the person. All right, well, when you have this basically says that these two guys right here turn into a what? And if you do that all the time, then you won't have any problems. And that's negative 3. You owe $3, and you have 4. Now, if you owe 3 and you have 4, your answer is you have what? 1 in your pocket. And that's it. There's no other combination of problems that you're going to have that is complicated. It's not complicated. You just do it and put, is it time to go? Don't tell me it's time to go into pizzas here. I thought it was over at 2:20. Well, y'all have to get it and go down the hallway. What time is it right now? Well, I'm sorry. Domino's must be lazy today. Let me get the roll. All right, so you are responsible now for 5-1, 5-2, and 5-3 homework. Okay? Let me get the roll. Sorry about that, guys.